It's Sabara from Scrappy Mania, and today I'm going to show you how to create these flowers, okay, out of petals that you buy at the dollar store. So you get a bunch of petals in a bag, and they have different colors, and I got some red ones from my dollar store, some pink ones, and some whites. So I'm going to show you how to do this technique. You'll need a candle. And you need some water just in case it flares up. As you can notice, I scorched some of my flowers. These are my first two flowers that I made. So it's kind of a learning process. So I'm going to teach you what not to do in order to get this scorch marks. But these are my two flowers. These are some other ones that I scorch. So you want the water just in case they do flare up. You want to drop it in there and kind of get rid of the flame and not burn down your craft room. So the first thing you'll need to make these flowers, you're going to need a glue gun. You're going to need some scissors because I need 5 petals of a smaller size petal. Then the next size will be a little bigger, so 5 petals next size. Then another 5 petal, a bigger size, and then the last 5 petals will be the same size that you leave it like this. And I'll show you what I mean. You're gonna need a lighter, so that way you can light up your candle, of course. And you're gonna need tweezers, so you don't burn your fingers. Okay, so I got some tweezers here. So let's go ahead and get started. You're gonna take 5 petals of your flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 5, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You're just gonna line it up, and these are gonna be your center flowers. So these are gonna be your buds, and just cut it a little bit around it, like so. Okay, and get rid of those excess. Then you're gonna take another 5 petals of your next size. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to cut them a little bit bigger than the others, than the last 5 that I cut. Okay, so these are my smaller petals, these are my next size, and then 5 petals . And you're just going to barely cut these. Just kind of trim off the edges. Okay. And then you need 5 petals uncut flowers, which is what I did there. Okay, now the next thing you're going to need to do is melt the flowers so that way it'll get a curve. So you take your tweezers, and this is where your flame will come in handy, and you're just gonna move it over the flames, being careful not to it flames up. So as it starts curling, just quickly remove it off the fire, and just take your time and kind of be careful with this part. Okay. And then that should be enough. I think that's enough. And then you're going to do that to all your petals. You do that again with all your petals. And see how it's starting to curve like inward? So then I turn my tweezers over because I want the petal to curve outward. Okay, so the petal will let you know what direction it wants to go. So that's another one. And then this is the last one I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do the rest of the petals off camera, and then I'll return once I get all my petals nice and curved. I'll return to the video. See you in a second. Oh, and make sure you don't put it too close. If you put it close, let me get this petal. If you put it too close like that, that's when it starts flaring up, and you don't want to do that. So you want to kind of go above the flame and kind of want to move it around the heat, and let the heat do the work, not the flame. Okay, so let me do the rest of my petals, and I'll return once I get them all done. Okay, I got all my petals done, and actually at this I didn't scorch one, not even one of them. So the trick was to put it above the candle. Just put it above the candle and keep moving it, and don't have the petal touch the flame. That's what was my mistake when I first started doing these. So I have my sections. This is my larger ones. These are my smaller ones. Actually smaller, next size, and next size. So I'm going to start with the smaller size. Okay, and then I'm going to form a bud. And notice how I kind of like roll it into itself to form kind of a bud. Okay, and see how it forms like kind of like a bud. Okay, and then I'm going to put a little glue just there. And you got to be careful not to burn your fingers. Then you're going to get the next one. It's going to form it. You're going to put a little glue here. And even if it's not perfect, don't worry about it. It's going to look good once you get all the petals on there. It'll look good. Okay, I'm starting to form my bud. Then my next petal will be right here. So I'm going to put some glue there. Just a little tiny glue so I don't burn myself. And then just roll it around, little there. Roll it around. And then a little there. Ouch! Burn a little bit. So be careful, don't burn yourself, don't do what I did. Then the next petal, okay, it's going to be right here. So I'm going to start gluing it a little bit here. And just roll it over. And you want to kind of cover the gaps. Like you put it in between the petals. Like in between these two petals, you put the next one in between. And then put some here. Okay. Now my next petal, my last small petal will be here. Okay. And you can start putting the petal a little looser. And then what I like to do is I like to cut this big chunk off. See that big chunk? I cut it off. Now I'm going to start with the next one. And I'm going to do this fast motion. What I'm doing is you're going to take each individual petal and you're going to lay it on your flower in between the petals, so that way it looks more like a natural rose. So just keep putting petals around your flower with a little bit of glue, and we're being careful not to burn yourself. You'll see later on that I burned myself again a couple times doing this. So just keep laying your petals with a little bit of glue, hot glue, and just go around it and start forming it. And it was pretty easy to do this flower. It wasn't that difficult. The biggest thing that I had to be careful with was with the hot glue, not burning myself, and also making sure that when I put the new petal that I put in between any gaps, so that way it will look more natural. And I really liked how this rose came out because it really looked like a real rose. Now, if you can stop here if you want a less fuller petal, but I continue on and I put all my 20 petals on. I use 5 petals of each size, so you just take 5 sets of petal and just gradually cut them. The smaller size first, and then a little bigger than that. That next set is a little bigger. The next set is a little bigger, and then the last set you don't really need to cut them at all. So I had pretty good success doing that. And just make sure that if you want less than 20 petals, you can do it out of 15. I have one, the white one that I'll show at the end was done with 15 petals. If you want a bigger flower, then you can do it with more petals. But it's up to what you want to do with these. There's my flower. Now, one thing you can do, ouch, 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 ah! Ooh. That was painful. So I guess I should use this. Okay, the next thing I can do, you can probably try to cut a little of the bulkness right here, because I mean, for a scrapbook page, I think this is a little too bulky. But for a card, would be okay. For a mini album, the cover of a mini album will be okay. But let's go ahead and see. See, this one I cut it a little bit to make it a little flatter. This one I did cut a little bit too to make it a little flatter. So this one, I think I can cut it as well. It's a little flatter. Yeah, actually, you can put it in a scrapbook page. It's not, once you cut the bottom piece, maybe it's a little flatter, but here it is. You know what? Maybe we should try glimmer misting this with a little bit. So hold on. Let me experiment. Let me go ahead and get my glimmer mist. Let me turn off this candle before I burn my whole house down. But let me go ahead and get my glimmer mist. And let's see. This is a homemade glimmer mist that I made using Julie Walters' recipe. Julie Walters 74 with alcohol, shadow that you buy, eyeshadow that you buy at the dollar store. So let's see how it looks. Okay, let me dry it with a little bit with my heat tool. Okay. Well, I do like it. It has a faint little sparkle from my glimmer mist. See how my hand is all sparkly? Well, the flower has that little sparkly too. And this one. And this one. So I hope I inspire you to make these flowers using dollar store finds of dollar store petals and a little bit of fire and hot glue, and you can make some gorgeous flowers like this. You can put it on your clothes, you can put it on a band, a headband, and you can put it on your scrapbook. If you cut out a lot of the bottom piece, it will lay flat enough for your scrapbook. So I hope you like my tutorial. Come back to see me for some more. And I'm going to show you, my next video is going to be another find that I found in the dollar store that you can use to color your images in. Thank you for watching. Bye.